This I got it
trying
from
to
Masai Mara.
learn these techniques.
I would just similar something in Nepal.
Here you go.
It's a picture of me quad biking through the dunes at Serikafema in northern Namibia, which has to be one of the most exhilarating experiences.
This I found on my travels in Ladakh in India. It's one of the most beautiful and calming places I think I've ever been to.
I wanted to show you the Machu Picchu stamp. And when I was there, like going through the gate, I have no words to describe that feeling. Yeah, it was so magical to be there.
Here is a little snapshot from the GoPro footage. I got to see a humpback whale in the flesh, underwater on the east coast of Oz, and it was just absolutely breathtaking.
This is from a festival in Sardinia, from a very small town called Mamoyada.
My GoPro. I absolutely love diving. It's a big part of my travels. We went over to Sipadan, just never dived anywhere like that. It's just absolutely amazing.